Hi, I'm Kevin Hogan, president of Rock Island Auction Company. And as I've said many times before, but this time in a much bigger way, welcome to our upcoming May 3rd, 4th, and 5th Premier Firearms Auction, our first Premier sale of 2019. Again, we're picking up right where we left off from 2018, right into 2019, again, in a big way. We have some great stuff coming up for sale, whether it's Colts, Winchesters, Smith & Wessons, fine sporting guns, U.S. military, German military, and that's what we're about to talk about today. The 84-pound gorilla in the room, if you will. This is the cool stuff. If this stuff doesn't get you going, I don't know what will. So we'll talk about some NFA stuff. We'll talk about some of the big armor we have coming up. To my right, the Swiss PZ61. It's powered by a Mercedes-Benz 837 engine. It's a V8 diesel, and it's backed up by a 105 millimeter gun. And you know, this is from the Littlefield collection, formerly of the Littlefield collection. And what's nice about this armor, this big armor, in that sometimes it can be finicky, sometimes the mechanics can be tough. These two tanks, not the case here. This tank fires up exceptionally well. It runs well. It is a beast. To my left, iconic US M47 patent tank. It's powered by a Continental V12, which is producing about 810 brake horsepower, and that's backed up by a 90 millimeter gun. And again, same story as the PZ61. It runs extremely well, and these are really scarce in the US. They're very scarce in the US. Between the two of them, you're looking at like 180, 190,000 pounds of kick-ass military history. Speaking of great military history, 1883 Gatling gun. Now, there's no such thing as an ordinary 1883 Gatling gun, and this one is above and beyond in the fact that it's a beautiful 4570. It's everything you want in a Gatling 4570. It's serial number 37, went to the U.S. Navy. And what makes this gun special is the documentation that's associated with it. You really can't find Gatlings with history, and this one has phenomenal history. We have a letter from the Department of the Navy that identifies number 37 as being issued to the USS Manawatha, which was a Monitor class ship. It was originally commissioned in 1862 that is, and it was finished in 1863. Again, an ironclad class ship. It was rebuilt in 1874 after the Civil War, and took part in as well as this gun, taking part of the blockade at Havana, Cuba during the Spanish-American War. To compound that, the Manawatha was one of the first ironclad ships to cross the Atlantic. So it's great history. This gun's been around the world, and the condition's fabulous on it. So you really can't get better than this. And for guys who have the gun rooms, you know, sometimes the guns on the carriages, they're big, they're bulky, they take up too much space. This is a really practical gun. It's a great example, and it doesn't take up too much space. To my right, it might look familiar. This is the second one in the country. This is one of two in the country, and it is an Armstrong Gatling gun. It's a British-made gun. It's in .45 Gardner, and these guns are really cool. They have a different stance. They sit a little bit lower. They're a little bit stouter. They have an aggressive look. The barrels are polished. They were polished bright. They were never finished. And it's just, again, it's a really stout looking gun. The carriage is iron. It's got rivets. It's a really imposing gun. Now, historically speaking, we can identify 7. We can only identify 7 .45 caliber Armstrong guns. Most of them, the majority of them, let's say 5 of them are institutionalized across the pond, if you will, in England, in the Imperial War Museum, as a number of others. And this is one of 2 in the United States. And as far as we know, there are 3 that can be owned privately in the world. And this is one of 2 in the United States. The other one, as far as we can tell, it's in very strong private hands. This is perhaps your only opportunity to own a true .45 caliber Armstrong gun. Again, it's a great piece of history. So moving from history, we'll talk about some of the NFA Class 3 stuff. And there's no reason to get into detail because I just want to talk to you about the sheer quantity that we have coming up. Nearly 50 NFA Class 3 weapons. We have Bren guns, we have Vickers guns, we have Maxim guns, we have Lewis guns, we have MG42s, MG34s, we have MP40s, MP44s, we have Thompsons, 21s, 28s. One of the cool things, we have M16s 3 different ways, like your eggs. What do I mean by that? One, we have a M16C carbine. We have an M16 personnel carrier, World War II personnel carrier. It's got 4 M2 50 cal quad guns mounted on the back. It's a World War II production. It is beautiful and it is mostly original. And that's hard to say when you're talking about World War II vintage vehicles. Right behind me, about 20 feet away from me, there's a MiG-21. But M16 3 ways, as I said. Last but not least, we talk about this gun in a video. So if you want to hear more history on this, check out another video. But this is a really important gun. It's an M16, fully transferable. It was presented to General Gilmore Wheeler, and it has a benchmark serial number as it reads XM16E1 caliber 5.56. Serial number is COS USA1. Gilmore Wheeler, General Gilmore Wheeler, was the Joint Chief of Staff for the Army. And he was the General Joint Chief under Johnson. He was instrumental in getting the M16 as the primary issued military weapon. So history, quantity, quality, it's all here. Whether you're interested in military vehicles, Gatling guns, Class 3 weapons, Winchester's, Colt, Smith & Wesson sporting arms, again, it's here in quantity and quality. So mark it in your calendars, May 3rd, 4th, and 5th, Rock Island Auction Company's first premier sale of 2019. For more information about this auction, visit www.rockislandauction.com. For updates, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Don't forget about our preview date, May 2nd. Come view some of this awesome stuff. We make it fun. It's open to the public. We do a party in the evening. It's a great event, the most underrated gun event in the country, no doubt. Hope to see you in May.